In this slide, we'll get to learn about HTML block and inline element. First of all, what are HTML elements? They are basically used to hold content you wish to display on the browser. HTML tags, which are often interused instead of HTML elements. But basically, HTML tags are simply the opening and closing tag of that particular element, with the example of the opening tag being the less than sign, the name of the element, the greater than sign, then followed by the content you wish to have in that particular element. Then last but not the least, the less than sign with a forward slash, which signifies that this is the closing part of the tag. In some cases, some HTML element does not have a closing tag, so as such is called self-closing. An example is the meta element that we got to see in the beginning of the course. HTML attributes, which are found within the opening tag of an element, are used to describe the characteristics of the HTML element in detail. We have block level and also inline level elements. Block level elements are essentially those HTML elements that takes up the entire width of its container. For instance, you have the h1 to h6, you have the paragraph tags, you also have the div tags. These are not limited to these three examples. Examples of the inline element includes the span, the anchor tag, which is used for hyperreferencing, and all the text formatting tags. And again, they are not limited to just these three examples. In this code base, you'd get to see how to use those HTML tags we talked about. The first one being the div, followed by the h1, followed by the paragraph tag. Now the div is going to be like the title of this particular block element, where the h1, like I said, it ranges from h1 down to h6, with h1 being the highest in font size and also in boldness. The paragraph tag is simply the tag or the element used in creating paragraphs while writing your article. Where you have the second example of the inline elements, the span, which contains the hello world text, the bold, which has an acronym of B, contains the text will be bold, and last but not the least, the italics. Checking out our code base here on how it's going to look like on the browser, you'd get to see that the block elements, this is the larger heading tag, and also this is the paragraph tag. They all occupy an entire width. This is to show you that it's a block element. Now by default, the browser you're using gets to add a little bit of padding, a little bit of margin around that particular HTML tag, as it recognizes it as a block level element. After the horizontal line in here, you'd get to see that the remaining texts are all jumbled up together. That is the inline element, which essentially takes up as much space as the content needs. In the next slide, we'll get to talk about text formatting and various examples of text formatting.